I, Queen Scarlet Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a recap, review, analysis for Girlfriends episode 1. And the name of this episode is Toe Sucking, premiered on September 11th, 2000. Okay, so for those of you who may not know, this is definitely the pilot episode of Girlfriends, the beginning of 8 seasons and the beginning of a lot of our childhoods, teenage hoods, and 20 something hoods. Okay, okay. So, being the fact, first of all, that the name of the episode is toe sucking, I want to dissect that just a little bit. So, one of the subjects in the episode is a toe sucker, is a individual with a foot fetish, if you will. Okay. Now, outside of the whole toe sucking foot fetish thingamajig, I want to talk about what the toes represent just a bit. Toes and fingers, but of course, specifically the toes. So, the toes are connected to your feet, which are connected to your legs, and all of that, that is your base, being like from your hips to your toes and your toes up, is considered your root chakra area, your area of protection, your area of providing, your area of being grounded, also making money, decision making, being firm and stern in your own individual self, your path, where you are in life, your stance on things, this, that, and the third. Okay, the toes specifically connected to the feet, specifically generating an abundance of energy, that also refer to the earth star chakra, which is considered the etheric root chakra. And the earth star chakra gets into past life things, and past life can be the past of your life in this lifetime, and it can also be other lives that you have lived in other dimensions, in other time periods, in other life spans. Okay, so just a little brief indication of how that can apply to this episode, and somewhat to Girlfriends in general, being the fact that this is the first episode, this is the kicker offer or whatever. Thinking about Joan and the ladies in particular, they are very prominent. There are a lot of feelings and a lot of functionalities that they have, and a lot of mindsets that they have that surround the root chakra, such as the need and desire for a man, feeling like you need a man, and masculine energy is protecting and providing for. So there is that. Joan's job, Tony's job as well, needing to be the boss, having very prominent jobs, having jobs or careers that are male dominated, which may constantly put a woman in a stage of being constantly defensive, or just constantly feeling like they're being dissected, undressed with eyes, being stared at, criticized. Just pick the part, when you feel like you are the outsider in the group, let alone a woman in a world that is dominated and, for the most part, ran and controlled by men. Emphasis on ran and control. Also, two root chakra elements, okay? There's a lot of red that is worn and flashed throughout the episodes as well. Shout out to my lipstick, okay? So, once again, root chakra tease. The color of the root chakra is red. Now, get into the sucking part. Like I said, outside of the individual who has the foot fetish, sucking, toe sucking, ass kissing, okay, going into that nature. What is everybody toe sucking to get to the next point, or what toe are the different characters sucking to get to their next point in life? What vessels are they looking to? What vessels are they tending to? What are they giving their energy to? And what are they taking energy from in order to get to where they want to be and in order to get what they want? Okay? So, with all of that being said, let's get into the review. Yes, let's get into I'm gonna offer another little coin here. Being the fact that I did say, well, it says it, I don't have to say it. The episode premiered 9/11 2000. 9/11 is the angel number of Archangel Michael and the number of protection. And Archangel Michael is the angel of protection. He is prominent as it concerns cars, also as it concerns matters of money, how you get your money, the vessels which your money can come through, the epiphanies that you get of how you can make money as well. And being the fact that it was dropped in 2000, 2000 given a number of duality and a grand number of divinity with those three zeros there. This is a very victorious piece of artwork filled with very victorious artists as well. And that number 9, which is the which is September. September is the ninth month, giving energy of completion, which I will definitely touch on concerning the characters' needs to feel complete and what do they feel like they need or want in order to feel complete and to feel validated. And so, without further ado, we are introed into the episode with Miss Maya Wilkes sitting at her work desk at the law firm which Joan works at. We see Maya there taking a call, having a little spice in her tone, and transferring them elsewhere, letting them know that Joan has not come in yet. And she will have to leave a message. She will have to transfer them, okay? And Joan comes in. Maya immediately greets her, gives her a gift, showers her with love, okay? And what do we know about Maya off rip? We know that Maya is funky, sassy. We know that she has an office job. We know that she works for Joan. And we can also see off rip that she is a very loving, caring, and attentive person. You know, there are people in the world who will know that it's your birthday and they will see you and talk about everything else before they acknowledge that the day is about you. But no, Maya has not even been friends with Joan that long, and she instantly wishes her a happy birthday, hands her a gift, and brings another gift to her attention, okay? Now keep that in mind because I'm gonna bring that back up as it concerns someone else. Okay? Joan gets her gift and she reads off the card, and it is from someone who she was dating who is ultimately breaking up with her, saying happy birthday, sorry I can't make it to your party tonight, I got back with my ex. Child, what a birthday present. So already we can see that Joan is a very successful businesswoman. She is indeed a lawyer. She is beautiful as all get out. She is dressed to the nine, giving everything that you could ever want and need from H to T, okay? She has it all. But she also has a card of a man breaking up with her on her birthday to get with someone else. A mess. So this definitely sends Joan into somewhat of a tangent, like, oh my gosh, why does this keep happening to me? Going through a series of heartbreaks and just lackluster men, which I'm sure many of us can relate to one way or another, whether you in a relationship now or you are single. You know how it can be with these men, child, with these people in general, but with these men, child, they can be very flip floppy here and there, say one thing yesterday and a whole nother thing tomorrow. Okay, it's real ugly. It be real ugly out here. Okay, in this conversation, Joan lets out a wail. Not the animal, like she wails, she yells. And Maya points out, shh, girl, we are the only black women in this building, okay? Pinpoint right there. They are the only black women in the building. So not only are they in a male dominated environment, they are also in an environment that is dominated by people who are a different race of them. White. And or Asian, probably a little Latino, but near somewhere, but they ain't black. Okay. Unless they Afro Latino. They ain't say nothing about that. So Maya and Joan are the only black women in the building, which makes a difference in how they will tend to function and move in that environment. This will also have an impact on how they feel about themselves and how they view themselves, as individuals and also as business women. So, looking at my notes. Okay, yes. So, with that being said, that Maya brought up the fact that they are the only black women in the building, this brings up respectability politics. And one thing that I have noticed when it concerns respectability politics, there is often quite a bit of classism, elitism, colorism, racism that goes along with those respectability politics, okay? And we will see even more so how that plays out going throughout the episode as well as going throughout different episodes. However, in this particular scene, when Maya is talking, I can't remember exactly what she says, but she uses a colloquialism and she speaks using incorrect grammar. And Joan makes a note to correct her at most of the time when she does that, okay? And that is indeed, not only can it be like just a personal tick, but that does come from, it is rooted in some classism, respectability politics type stuff. And for those of you who do not know, you can find out some other information in my character analysis for the characters of this show. But Maya is from Compton, California, which is a more hood, more impoverished type of environment. Of course, predominantly black, more than likely, predominantly mixed and black. I mean, like an amalgamation of people of color mixed and black, based off, you know, what my research shows and also what the plethora of people that we have seen in the media that come from Compton, California. So there are a lot of prejudices that Maya is met with, as well as judgment that Maya is met with throughout, especially the beginning of the entire series, and definitely shown in this show. Okay. We talk about the need for a man. Maya brings up that Joan will not have a date for her birthday party. And my initial thought when this is said, like even my first time watching the show, I'm just up here like, what you need a man for? It's your birthday. It's about you. Do your thing. Okay. But given the environment, given the time period and how these ladies were brought up and how a lot of ladies are brought up in society, it is heavily pressed upon women that you can have everything in the world, but if you ain't got a man, what are you doing? It must be something wrong with you. Okay, and that is exactly what Joan is going through. So not only is she turning a year older, 29 to be exact, she is also being constantly reminded that she does not have a man. And then on top of that, it gets broken up with on her birthday. We have a flashback. She does some flashbacks. Maya tells her that the right man is probably just right up under her nose, and Joan starts to have a flashback of all of these different men that she has come across in her daily life and more than likely turned down, child. And just imagine those posts that be having the Facebook dating profiles on there, and you see those very colorful men that have these very colorful profile bios and what they say their needs and desires are, child, and they look like they need a tall glass of water and several seats. Several, okay? Several seats. A mess, child, a mess. So Joan kindly tells her that the only thing that is under her nose will be getting waxed at 6 o'clock. Cute little funny there. Okay, so we flash on over to being introduced to Tony Childs and Lynn Searcy, and the fabulous Tony Childs is putting out Lynn Searcy, and we get some indications of a very high maintenance dame and a very eccentric young lady, okay? So throughout their conversation, one can indeed put together that Lynn is a bit of a mooch. Lynn is a bit of a couch potato, if you will, has been living in Tony's house and causing her quite a bit of discomfort and irritation. And you know, Tony loves to keep her some male company as well. And Tony also likes her alone time because Tony likes herself more than anything else, child. So I can only imagine how Lynn is getting in the way of that. Lynn makes a bunch of promises that she often does not keep. I'm gonna only be here for a couple of weeks turn into a couple of months turn into the rest of her life. Okay, so in the midst of this conversation, Tony is throwing out Lynn's stuff and packing it up so she can ship her on out. Tony ends up bringing up the fact that she is dating a young man named Charles, okay? And Lynn says, Charles? Joan's ex? Now, this is not the ex that sent the breakup flowers. This is a whole another ex, okay? So Lynn points out the fact that that is Joan's ex, and Tony points out the fact that she could give a less. So she's like, oh, she broke up with him. Why would she want him? It shouldn't be a problem. Da 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 da. And child, that will be a video for a next time where I dive into that conversation with a friend or two of mine, and we will discuss some things concerning dating, friends' exes, and stuff. Okay? Okay. So they have a little back and forth. Lynn is like, you should tell her. You need to tell her. And then you plan on taking her. You plan on taking him to Joan's birthday party also? Now, what type of trifling is that? Okay? What type of trifling? Where she learned that at, honey? Who raised her? Who? I'm sorry. So, hold that thought on that scene. We flash over to meeting Mr. William Dent. He walks into Joan's office and begins to tell her happy birthday, and Joan accepts, and they have their brother sister bonding situation, and he is a big old goof. Okay, if you have watched the show, then you already know, big goof as William. Okay, Joan tells him that she's turning 26, and she's comfortable saying that because it makes her feel more accomplished, like she's accomplished more in life. And William tells her, you can't be 26, honey. You can't be 26, and it ain't got nothing to do with how you look, babe. Because if you was 26, and that means that you broke my record of becoming being the youngest junior partner, okay, of this law firm. And that is the big reveal. He reveals to Joan that she made junior partner at the law firm. Now, even though Joan is 28 and she feels like 26 would make her more accomplishing, becoming junior partner at 29 at a male-dominated law firm, at a white male-dominated law firm, that is still a major accomplishment. Certainly in Los Angeles, California as well. Joan is a strikingly educated woman, honor student, okay? Yet she still feels empty just based off of the fact that she does not have a man. How sad. How sad. So, Tony calls Joan to... I was making sure I was in the right spot. Okay, Tony calls Joan, and in this moment, she says, "Happy birthday!" And Lynn is got her strong armed with a pair of scissors to her hair, like, "I'm gonna cut your hair off. You better get to the point, ho. Get to the point." So, tell you what I point out in this thing. Remember when I said hold that thought about Maya telling Joan happy birthday instantly? So all of this day has gone by and Tony has not called Joan. Tony has not told Joan happy birthday, and Tony is Joan's bestest friend. But then when you do call her and you do tell her happy birthday, you use it to shield and stall from the lackluster information that you have to reveal to her. Now, a lot of us got friends like this, and like Lynn had them scissors. Don't just chop their hair. Chop her ass the fuck up out your life. Cause what the... She been knowing this girl since she was a kid. And you ain't told her happy birthday. Let alone the only reason you telling her not is to stall and shield from the fact that you are dating her ex and gonna bring him to her party. Joan acts like it's okay and says, "Hey, you know what it is. Bring him on home. Suki, Suki, Suki." Little Sugar Bear reference. So, Joan brings up the fact that Charles will not marry her. Charles is the toe sucker. In this conversation, or is it Lynn that says it first? But regardless, whenever somebody says Charles, the responding person is like, the toe sucker? So yes, Charles Jones' ex is the toe sucker. Okay? Okay, so Joan brings up the fact, and we also see a flash of where they had a conversation. They was chilling, he was rubbing her feet, and she brings up to him that marriage is just a part of her goal, and if marriage is not a part of his goal with her, then she would need to cut him loose. They don't need to be doing what they're doing. So he says he's not ready for marriage. He doesn't plan on getting married. They break up. So in this conversation with Tony, Joan brings up to Tony that he's not gonna marry her. Basically giving her indication like, okay, you go ahead and do that, but he ain't shit. Basically. Tony just bypasses that and is like, okay girl, thank you, and goes on about her business, which brings up the indication that Tony is not looking for commitment. Tony is looking for something to do and somebody to give her attention. Okay? Perfecto. We get to the party, okay? And I have in my notes, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I love me some Maya, and I totally understand what her character represents. Every time she shows up on camera, though, my first question is, what do she got on? What do she got on? What do she got on? Sometimes it be cute, sometimes it be almost cute. Like she'll have on a cute top and cute pants, but it don't go together. So specifically in this scene, she has on a cute red halter top and some leather pants. Okay, the issue is the textures. That's what I have in the. That's what I have in my notes. Maya has on two different textures. The top is like some like, I'm not gonna lie, cheap like satin type of material. It's not silk. It looks like it looks like one of those, like kind of like one of those like a shiny one of those, a shiny version of a napkin that you roll silverware in, but it's red, and then the pants are black and they are like leather, but it looks like rubber, and it's just the texture and the cut of the top with the pants. It just don't go right, honey. It just don't go right. I mean, that's one good look of hers, because there are many more that are much worse. Okay, enough of reading her clothes. But that is an indication though of not just her, like I'm not trying to say that people from the hood dress bad, but what I'm saying is in a big city area like Los Angeles, California, that is known for Hollywood, celebrity, lifestyles of the rich and famous type shit. Someone like Maya, who comes from the place that she comes from, and acquiring this new job and acquiring this new environment that she's in, she's still in the process of finding her footing, of finding her look, finding her style in order to blend in with the horizons. You know, as they say, it when in Rome, do as the Romans do. So in Compton, she would probably have a different style, you know, different patterns or different ways that she would put her outfit together that would probably look better. It's just that she would get dragged going into the posh environments like her workplace and the restaurants and stuff that she goes to with her friends that live in their area. um I'm sorry if I'm saying a lot. But yeah, so just those indications of her still blossoming into the new environment is what that is. And I honestly like to see those type of butterfly processes where someone is coming into something new and you're just watching their process of like pros and cons and trials and areas and hits and misses. I like that because eventually Maya's style does come together much better. Even the way that she wears her hair and everything, it does end up coming together much better in the way that fits her personality, fits her character, kind of gives you some indication of where she comes from, but it's also grown, sexy, and sophisticated. Okay? Okay, enough about her wardrobe. Let's get into this party, okay? Awkward Central. Joan has on this sexy green gown, child. This sexy green gown showing off all the boudoir and the itty bitty titty committee of it all, okay? It's just a little taste. You don't need too much. Just a little cake. Just a little taste. A shot of milk. You don't need a whole glass. Step on. So yeah, she's stepping, she's strutting that ass or whatever. She done invited William to be her date. William struts in and he says the handsomest man of the hour has arrived. And this guy. This guy is toe sucking Charles, okay? And let the awkward meter turn up on that note, honey. So, like I said, Joan is strutting that ass through the vicinity, trying to, act like everything is cool. William is being extra cringy, talking about they colleagues in the daytime, and they be giving each other sexual pleasures at night, which is not true, but he's laying it on thick for the facade, okay? And very awkward, very awkward. So Joan, he trying to put his arm around Joan, and Joan is like, okay, check on something in the kitchen. So she invites William in the kitchen with her to remind him this ain't real. Hold your horses and get yourself together, sir. In the midst of that, over to the side in the living room, Lynn is chilling, doing her lone wolf thing, and Maya is eating her snacks and hors d'oeuvres or whatever, and just doing her little personal out loud commentating and whatnot. And Tony is all kicked up, laid up with the toe sucker, okay? And couch on the love seat on this side where Maya sits, love seat on this side where Tony sits, and let's say I'm sitting where Lynn is. So Maya, Tony, Lynn, giving you the visual. I point this out because this is definitely a director's choice. This is called blocking. In theater and in film, it's called blocking, where the director gives you specific spaces to be at a specific time. They may not necessarily tell you how to get there, but they would just say, okay, in this conversation, you need to be sitting in this chair. In this conversation, y'all need to be by the kitchen. And so it's up to the actors to use the words of the script and also use their own personal intent and personal characterization of the character to make the decision as to why would my character be over here? Why would my character sit right here? Why would my character eat this like this? And it makes a difference in how they do things. So speaking on Maya and Tony in particular, like I said, Lynn doing her longsmith thing. She's on a big ass couch just sitting there in the middle by herself, kicking it. That says a lot about Lynn's personality. She enjoys her own space, but she also doesn't mind taking yours, okay? She's not really concerned about what everybody else is doing. She is too focused on her and her comfort, and ain't nothing wrong with that to an extent. Now we have Maya over here, like I said, eating the snacks, and she eating them like, yeah, girl. Getting her life. She's sitting in the chair like, lax. She's relaxed. She has a more relaxed, free type of disposition. Now we see Tony sitting on the other side of the table, more prim and proper, a little more prissy. Says a lot about her personality and her characterization and all of that. Now, them being on two different ends of the table and two different ends of the living room, they are on two different sides of the same coin. Maya is from Compton, which is considered more of the hood, but Tony is from Fresno, which is more of the country. Both were impoverished environments, just have some slight differences, okay? And whereas Maya could be very insecure about where she comes from, Tony actually is insecure about where she comes from and tries to erase that with everything that she can, but it makes it more difficult being met with somebody like Maya. Maya is triggering to Tony. Not only that, but Tony is a bit triggering to Maya. So as Maya is sitting here minding her business, Tony is giving her these little stank looks and shit. And what really kind of kicks it off is when Maya mentions going home to her husband. Maya has a husband. And Maya mentions going home to her husband, which makes Tony turn up the stank face even more. And Maya's like, why are you looking at me like that? And Tony wants to play English games now and say, oh, you not using correct subject verb agreement. It's why are you looking at me like that? So Maya decides to play along in the game and say, well, child, kiss is both a subject and a verb. So why don't you give my ass a kiss or kiss my ass? Snapped, okay? And Lynn informs Tony that she just got an English lesson. Snapped. So they have this light dispute, which kind of opens up the door of a bit of combative energy. And Joan finally steps into the room and goes kaboom, like, bitch, I know you fucking lying. Done brought this nigga up in here, like, what the fuck you think is going on? All of y'all can get the hell out of my house, child. So she does all of that. They sit there and look at her crazy because Joan's personality is not usually the one that snaps on people and puts people in their place. She's very passive aggressive and she's very appeasing as well. And so when she does snap and when she does try to put people in their place, they like, don't know what to do, and more than likely also don't take it serious. So then Joan is like, fuck it, I'm leaving. Da da da. She gets up and nip slip runs off, child. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. I don't know if I said it right, but shout out to Jamie, that's me. So wardrobe malfunction. We flash over to Tony and Charles in the bed. He giving her a pedicure and is about to get ready to commence to sucking on her toes. She stops him and says, I can't do this. I can't do this because I just feel like this is wrong now. I'm feeling guilty and I feel like you a dog ass nigga. Oh my gosh. So let him go on by his business. He had a little attitude or whatever. You know how them boys can act when you reject them, when you don't want them, especially if they think they cute and they like, how could you not want me? Fuck out of here. So flashback over to Joan and William at the office. Joan is having another dwelling rants about her fucked up love life. Let's talk about a little bit how I'm gonna save that. But William reassures her that she will find someone. She just needs to wait a little while longer before she gets to flashing them with the nip slips. Teases her a little bit, okay? Now, we flash on back over to Joan and we see that Lynn has taken up refuge in her home again, okay? And we get indication here that this is definitely a known for Lynn, that she is a house hopper, and as I said in her character analysis video, she is a hobosexual, even though she's not giving Joan sexual favors for living there. So, there's a knock on the door. And who is it? The toe sucker. And he is there to apologize, okay, to Joan about dating her friend and also coming to her house. And then, honey, he lays it on thick, start talking all smooth and all of that shit, talking about Will. After you said something, it put it on my mind that I might want to get married when I get my stuff together and all of this and that. And child, it ain't take hardly no time till Joan was like, and just making out and all indulged with the man all on the counter, child, having a weak ass moment. So, excuse me. So, knock on the door, breaks that up by the grace of God, and it is Tony bursting in. Child, she didn't even wait for nobody to come to the door. But Tony just burst on in, child. She's like, Joan, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm a whore. I don't know what to do with myself. And Joan is like, it's okay. Oh no, Charles, get up. Get up, Charles. This is wrong. So Charles gets up and it's just like, well, damn. So here we realize that Charles is a two-faced toe sucker. Now, we're going to talk about how Joan craves commitment, obsesses over commitment in a good man, but for some reason, we see her be attracted to and also attract two-faced men. Men who say one thing to her face and then do something else behind her back. And they don't just do it with her, like they do that. Men who live double lives. Why is that? Off rip, just basing off what we see in episode 1. Like I said, Joan is passive aggressive. She will often sidestep confrontation, sidestep what it is that she has a problem with, or act like she doesn't have a problem at all until things just boil to the surface and she ends up spazzing out and or embarrassing herself. And while that's a method of avoiding confrontation, it's disingenuous, it's inauthentic, it's two-faced. She forces herself in a position of leading double lives because she is not honest about her feelings a lot of the time. She's not honest about how she feels about people and how people make her feel, how people wrong her, and what that does to her. Not only that, but sometimes she will compromise for men. She will compromise what she needs and desires for people in general that she really, really cares about, such as with Lynn, for instance. She values having her home to herself. She values her space. But it's just that easy for Lynn to come in and crash in her spot and take up space. Rent free. Okay? So there's that. And also, I can see another place that comes from is being a lawyer. Being a lawyer who is in the environment that she is in a male-dominated society, and being one of the only black women there. So that puts her back to those respectability politics, kind of leading a double life, having to be one way at work, more than likely kind of stoic, hard, more on the masculine side, if you will, and then in her regular life, all of that shit just kind of spills out, and she may be a bit more vulnerable and things of that nature. We kind of see that when she's in her office and she's upright, and then William comes in and she just spills all of her emotions out. You can even see her posture change when one of her friends comes in that she's really comfortable with, that she's really comfortable venting to. But that can mindlessly send her into a period of kind of being fragmented and unintentionally being two-faced. And as the saying goes, you attract what you are. So therefore, she ends up attracting men who are two-faced and lead double lives. Child. So, in this moment, Charles gets to thinking that they all cool because Joan and Tony make up once they realize that Charles is the common denominator or whatever. And he's like, oh, let's go get Mexican or some shit. I forgot what he said, let's go get. But he was like, let's go to the restaurant and da-da-da-da, have a meal. It's on me, all that shit. They say, yeah, child, we'll meet you there. And they let him on out, close the door behind them, and they go and get Italian. They go to a whole another restaurant and have, okay? And of course, at the end of the episode, they are at dinner, having their little girlfriends ting, and once again at the table, Maya sits on one end and Tony sits on the other. So very interesting. And once again, I had to say, what does Maya have on? What does she have on? Child, she got this little shiny yellow bag with this like violet red type of top on and some other type of pants. I'm talking about just the top and the pants would have been cute. Just the top and the pants would have been cute. The pigtails was fine, but she had these little feathers at the end of it and this horrible yellow shimmery bag that looked like it came from Claire's. And I don't understand why she has it on with a pink type of a pinkish reddish top, but okay. So we end with Joan asking if they know where she can get a late night pedicure. Nasty guy, you nasty. And that concludes the recap. Now what I will do is pull just a couple of cards concerning the prominence and importance of red. You start off with that. Do a little color read. Do a little color read here. If I can get my stuff up out of here, child. Okay. What does the color red represent? Episode 1. What is the color red representing Girlfriends episode 1? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Transition. We have the transition card here. Back here so that I can prop it. Okay, we have the transition card. Now, first things first, like I said in the beginning, one person we see that with is Maya, and interestingly enough, she is the very first person that we see in the show. And I've already kind of given you a rundown on Maya's transition. She's new to the area, she's new to the life, she's kind of new to her job. She's from Compton, and she is going through a butterfly rose blooming type of period. Getting herself more, I don't want to say assimilated because it has a interesting connotation, but getting herself integrated getting herself integrated into the new environment and into this relatively new group of friends. Okay, so this is kicking off the spring of it all. And like I said, throughout the series, throughout season 1, we see Maya go through a lot of changes, discovering who she is, discovering that things that she once wanted and needed out of life no longer work for her, discovering that she wants to branch out and take more risk, that she wants to be an individual and not be so influenced by other people's thoughts and opinions. Now, Joan, we see her, it's her birthday. Transition number 1, it's her birthday. She's at a new age. It's a new year for her. It's a new time in her life. Once again, spring. It's her springtime. It's her birthing time, her rebirth, rejuvenation period. She just got a new promotion. She just made junior partner, and she is approaching 30, and she's trying to figure out now her purpose in life, which can happen also when you have accomplished a lot at a young age. When you've accomplished a lot at a young age, it can get you to a certain point where you're like, okay, what now? Which can be why she's like so focused on a man, a man, a man, a man, a man, because that's just like another goal on her list that she has yet to accomplish. And speaking of transition, we kind of see how Joan holds herself back from transition. When you avoid conflict like that, and you're not honest with your feelings like that, and you allow other people to infiltrate your energy a hell of a lot like that, it can hold you back, keep you stagnant, because you are resisting transitionary periods. You are resisting change. And Joan often does not speak up for herself because she is afraid of the change that it will cause in the dynamic of the relationship that she has with people. And you have to function in fearlessness. You have to function in faith, and you have to function in firmness in yourself in order to really get to know yourself and also really get to know other people. Sometimes it can bring you closer to those people, and sometimes it can bring to your attention that you need to cut those people off. And sometimes you need to cut those people off so that you can attract in who and what is really for you. So that's Joan right there. Tony, we didn't get a whole lot of background information about Tony's life in episode 1. I really want to focus as it concerns episode 1 mostly. We don't get a lot of information on her backstory in life as it concerns that, besides the fact that she's from Fresno and is, a diva and whatnot. But we see that Maya is a new person in their life. And Maya is more than likely kicking off a major kind of transition, a challenge for Tony. Because, like I said, Maya triggers Tony. Maya is a reminder of Tony's insecurities. Even though Maya may not be as insecure about herself as Tony, those are insecurities for Tony, and it is triggering to her. So we can kind of see how Tony holds herself back in transition by not acknowledging where she comes from, trying to erase the home from her sense of humanity, trying to erase her imperfections, trying to shield her imperfections. And once again, it's kind of similar to Tony as well, fearing that it would change the dynamics, fearing that it would change how people look at her, how people perceive and operate with her if they find out what she is hiding, or what she is insecure about, her vulnerabilities. Lynn, we see Lynn literally transitioning from one house to the next. And again, not a whole lot of information on Lynn this episode, besides the fact that she is a bit of a um I don't want to say gypsy, but gypsy is what comes to mind. I think that may be a derogatory term. I hope not. If it is, I greatly apologize. I don't mean to be derogatory, but my understanding of a gypsy is one who spontaneously moves from one place to another in search of something or trying to get away from something. So that's what I'm getting from Lynn, someone who is constantly in a state of transition, house hopping, constantly in a state of trying to find out who she is and where she should be. Okay? One more card that I'm going to pull. Toe sucking. Toe sucking. What toes are each of the ladies sucking in order to get what they want and need out of life? We're going to start with Lynn. What toes are Lynn sucking? What toes are Lynn sucking? Belief. Belief. I feel like that fits a whole lot. So what I am getting from that is that Lynn goes from place to place and likes to hop like this because she's in constant search of one, belief. Like I said, she's in constant search of her identity, who she is, And she kind of gets that vicariously through other people. And she probably often feels like her needs and desires change by the moment because she hasn't figured out how to integrate all of the different parts of herself. Because even though it's not brought up or said in this episode in particular, Lynn is biracial and she is also adopted, but she's adopted by a white family. So she is very far removed from her roots, who she is. So it's like she's searching for something to believe in. She's searching for belief. She's trying to figure out who she is. So a lot of her moves and a lot of things she does is in intent to understand. She's like strategically kind of like unseemingly pulling nuggets of information from different people. This is kind of like Libra energy in a way. If you know some Libras, or if you just know people who seem like they bounce from one crowd to the next, or they bounce from one person to the next, because they kind of live vicariously through other people. And that's not always from a two-faced place or a malicious place. Sometimes it can be like Lynn. They are trying to find out what they like. They're trying to figure out what they want to do and where they fit in and what they believe in and who they are. Maya, divine masculine. That makes it this if I'm not mistaken, a divine masculine card came out in Maya's character analysis read, and she mentions her husband a couple of times throughout the episode, and she is the first person also that we hear mention this need for a man. And this can come from daddy issues, Maya coming from a single parent household, and also Maya having had a child as a teenager, a child that is a male also. So one can indeed infer that her husband Darnell was also a teenager. They were in the same class. So um, it puts her in a stage of trying to figure out discipline, trying to figure out authority, okay? Which is interesting because she works for Joan. Joan is a person of authority to her. And it is a lot like she looks up to Joan in a lot of ways. And I know I'm focusing on episode 1, but we see that become a power struggle between her husband and Joan eventually also. And Joan is often referred to as kind of masculine in the way that she functions as well. So there is that. We see so that's what I'm getting with that. Maya's toe sucking or the toe that Maya sucks is from a place of seeking authority, which she may be trying to establish her own personal authority, her authority in herself, her own self-discipline and self-control, which will feed into entrepreneurship. Okay, Tony. Tony's toe sucking. Okay. Change. If I'm not mistaken, this card either came up for Joan, or it came up for Tony, or it came up for both. But that is very confirming right there. So that's a change card for Tony. Tony likes to change out different men, different clothes, different materialistic articles, because it's like a physical manifestation of her resisting spiritual, emotional, and maturing change. Child, I don't even have to say I don't even have to say too much on that. But I just talked about how she resists transitions, how she resists change, because ultimately she does not want to face the roots of who she is. She does not want to face her homecoming and her upbringing from her home. So she overcompensates with that through physical things, and she switches out men. She don't want to commit to a man. She don't commit to wearing the same outfit more than once. She got to constantly keep buying stuff to constantly change her physical environment and her physical things because she refuses to change the spiritual elements. Now, for Joan. What I just say? Dynamic. So this is for Joan. Joan, the toe sucking qualities of Joan are heavily based in dynamic. Remember what I said about her not wanting to confront a whole lot, not wanting to tell how she really feels and really be vulnerable because she is afraid of how it would change the dynamics. So I literally already explained that, so that just shows you right there. That's the type of ass kissing or the type of toe sucking that she does in order to maintain certain dynamics. And also, what is marriage? A majorly unified dynamic. However, marriage relationships, romantic relationships, are ever changing. Okay, they are ever changing. So someone like Joan would have to really wrap their mind around the fact that things cannot stay the same all the time, and sometimes there is a need for conflict, sometimes there is a need for war. Things cannot be straight line or just bubblegums and roses and compliments in a relationship all the time. Sometimes you have to change up the dynamic by setting boundaries in order for everybody to grow and evolve their happiness and evolve their sense of self, child. So I hope that was as entertaining as it was educational, and I hope you have been enlightened. I also hope that you will like, comment, and subscribe. Share if you care, and keep coming on by to see the rest of what I have coming for you all, and also scroll through and dibble and dabble through the different videos and content that I already have up. Hit the description bar and find out where you can follow me on different social medias and see me just be me, and also give some other free content. You may also feel free to hit me up in my inboxes to schedule some personal readings. Okay, I thank you.